Have you ever spent forever crafting what you thought was the perfect do-it-all prompt for an AI, only to get a complete mess back? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, there's a technique that the pros use to get reliable, high-quality results every single time. It's called prompt chaining, and today I'm going to show you how it can turn your AI request from a messy gamble into a powerful, predictable workflow.
Does this look a little too familiar? This is what I call the classic kitchen sink prompt. We just throw everything in there, right? Research, analysis, strategy, content creation, all in one giant request, kind of hoping the AI will magically sort it all out. It feels efficient, but honestly, it's a recipe for disaster.
And when you do this, you know what happens. You get back some half-baked research, a super generic strategy, and just low-quality content. It's so frustrating because you know the AI can do better, but this approach, it really just sets it up to fail.
So let's actually put a name to this. It's the all-in-one prompt problem. When you ask an AI to juggle so many different types of tasks at once, you're pretty much causing a cognitive overload for it. I mean, think about it. It's like asking a person to write a novel, compose a symphony, and paint a masterpiece, all at the exact same time. Nothing gets the focus it deserves, and the quality of every single part just tanks.
Think of it like a line of dominoes. If there's one little error way back in the research phase, it doesn't just stay there. Nope, it cascades all the way through the entire output, poisoning everything that comes after it. Weak research leads to weak analysis, which leads to a flawed strategy. And you get the picture. The final content is useless, and trying to fix it, it's a nightmare. You basically have to scrap the whole thing and start over.
So the solution here requires a total shift in how we think. We need to stop seeing the AI as a single artisan, trying to build a whole car from scratch by themselves. Instead, we need to start thinking of it like a modern assembly line. And that is the core idea behind prompt chaining.
So what is prompt chaining exactly? Well, it's a technique that breaks a huge, complex task into a series of smaller, much more manageable steps. You're creating a pipeline where each prompt is like a specialized worker on an assembly line. It does one job, does it perfectly, and then passes its work on to the next station.
And this visual here, it shows you exactly how it works. It's so simple, but so powerful. The output from your first prompt, let's say that's your research, becomes the direct input for the second prompt, which is maybe your analysis prompt. Then, that analysis feeds the next prompt, which builds a strategy. It's a clear, logical, and incredibly effective flow.
Okay, but why is this method so much better? I mean, is it really worth the extra effort? Let me tell you, the improvements you'll see aren't just little tweaks. They are absolute game changers.
Get this. For complex, multi-step tasks, research shows that using a prompt chain can improve the quality and reliability of the output by 40 to 60%. Let that sink in. 40 to 60%. That is not a small improvement. That's a massive leap in quality and consistency.
And look, this isn't some kind of magic trick. It's all based on some really solid common sense principles of good workflow design. Let's break down the 3 big reasons why this whole assembly line approach is just so powerful.
First up is error isolation. With that one giant prompt, if one little thing goes wrong at the start, poof, the whole thing is ruined. With a chain, if your analysis step gives you a weak result, you don't have to redo all the research. You just fix that one analysis prompt and rerun that single step. It's so much more robust and way easier to fix.
Second, you get modularity. This is where it gets really cool. Each prompt in your chain is basically its own little self-contained reusable tool. You can save your awesome research prompt or your social media post generator prompt and then mix and match them in totally new workflows later on. It's like having a professional toolkit of Lego blocks.
And finally, and this one is so important, you get specialization. A single prompt forces the AI to be a jack of all trades, but a master of none. A prompt chain lets each step become a dedicated specialist. So you have one prompt that's an expert researcher, another that's an expert strategist, and a third that's an expert copywriter. And we all know, specialists always produce higher quality work. All right, enough theory. Let's make this real. Let's go back to that messy content request from the beginning and see how we can rebuild it the right way using a chain. So this was our starting point, right? The do everything at once command that gave us a jumbled mess, a little bit of everything, but not enough of anything good. Okay, now let's completely dismantle it and build an assembly line. Okay, now look at the after. This is our AI assembly line in action. Step 1, a dedicated researcher.
Its only job is to go out and gather high-quality, structured data. Then that clean data gets passed to our analyst prompt. Once the analysis is solid, it moves to the strategist. Then, and only then, does our writer get the brief. And finally, the social media manager takes that finished article and spins it into gold. See? Each step is focused, you can check the quality along the way, and each part is top-notch.
So, you've seen how powerful this is. And look, building your own chains, it's not as complicated as it might sound. It really just comes down to following a simple, 4-step blueprint.
First, you decompose. Just break your big, hairy goal down into small, logical, sequential steps. Ask yourself, what has to happen first? Then, you design. For each of those small steps, write a super specific, focused prompt. Think expert analyst, not do-it-all assistant. Third, and this is crucial, you connect the flow. Make sure the output format of one step, say a bulleted list of facts, is the perfect input format for the next step. Finally, you test and refine. And this is a pro tip. Don't just run the whole chain at once. Test each link individually. Make sure it's solid before you run the whole workflow from start to finish.
Ultimately, it all comes down to a shift in your mindset. So the next time you have a complex task for an AI, just ask yourself this one question. Are you asking it to be a lone artisan, hoping for a masterpiece? Or are you building a high-performance assembly line? Because trust me, the difference in your results will be astounding.